Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. This is now our second Digital Accepted Student Day for students accepted to the University of Maine and interested in the Maine Business School. So I'd like to say first, congratulations. Being accepted to UMaine is an awesome accomplishment, and we hope that after this session today, you'll learn a little bit more and be that much closer to wanting to join us next fall. My name is Nick Fraunfelter, and I'm the Marketing and Communications Manager for the Maine Business School. And we have quite a few members of our faculty, staff, and some of our student ambassadors here. So I'm going to hand it off to Dean Gilbert, the Dean of the Undergraduate School of Business, to kick us off. Dean Gilbert.
Good morning. I also extend my congratulations for your acceptance into the University of Maine. It's a great place. I wish you were up here today visiting with us. It's a beautiful day. The sky's blue. In spite of the sadness and difficulty of the pandemic, it is a place that is filled with people who sincerely care. My name is Faye Gilbert, and I am the Dean of the Undergraduate School of Business for the University of Maine, and I look forward to having all of the faculty, students, and staff introduce themselves before we open it up to your questions. But I thank you for joining us here today. I'll turn it back over to you, Nick, for introductions.
Thank you, Dean Gilbert. Let's start off with Nick Earhart.
Good morning, Nick Earhart. I'm the Associate Dean for Maine Business School. So I deal with a range of topics, scholarships, study abroad, transition to college, career planning, you name it. But ultimately, it's about assuring a valuable and transformative experience for you during your 4 years at Maine Business School. Thanks for dialing in.
Thanks, Nick. Cindy?
Hi, I am Cindy D'Angelo. I am the director of our Undergraduate Academic Advising Center for the Maine Business School. I'm also a professional advisor. So you will be seeing myself and my other two professional advisors quite a bit when you're working on selecting classes.
Thanks, Cindy. Jamie?
Good morning, everybody. I am here on my porch enjoying the sunshine and listening to the birds sing. My name is Jamie Ballinger. I'm the director for the Graduate School of Business. So I work with students from their freshman year on through as they're thinking about maybe getting their MPA or maybe going on for their accounting exams. I work with students in their junior and senior year specifically because we have what's known as a 4+1 program, which allows students to start taking graduate level classes in their senior year so that they can get their MBA as well as their bachelor's degrees in just 5 years. So thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Jamie. Chris?
Hello, thank you everyone for joining in. My name is Chris Richards. I am the Vice President for Enrollment Management here at the University of Maine. So I oversee the admissions office, the financial aid. So our team is the one that's processed your applications. You may have met us on the road. So congratulations. It's exciting to see you now taking this next step, engaging with your college. I am a proud alum of the University of Maine and the Graduate School of Business here at the institution. Originally from the small town of Dixfield, which many of you may have no idea where that is. It's a town with one traffic light. I showed up here at the University of Maine in the fall of 2006. It became my home and I never left. So thank you for tuning in today, and we look forward to answering your questions.
Great. Thanks, Chris. We have a few of our faculty members here, so we'll start with Nori.
Morning. My name is Nori Jones. I am a professor of business information systems. I also teach marketing, and I'm also the faculty advisor to the MBS Corps, which is the student volunteer organization, which two of our ambassadors are in, as well as Women in Business, which one of our ambassadors is in, and also our Undiscovered Maine project, which several of our student ambassadors are in as well. And thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Nori. Dave?
Hi, my name is Dave Barrett. I am a lecturer in financial accounting here at the Maine Business School. I've been here 16 years. I began my career with Arthur Andersen in Boston. I spent a few years there before returning to grad school. I teach the core financial accounting courses as well as the core financial accounting class at the MBA level. And that's my dog Gertie behind me, and he is the best dog ever. And I think that's all I have to share.
Thanks, Dave. So before we get to introducing our few student ambassadors, I'd like to just point out that this session is for you to ask questions. And so with quite a few people tuning in, which is great to see, it gets a little hectic if everybody just started talking. So as we introduce our ambassadors and you're thinking of your questions, if you'd like to ask a question, just go down to the chat function and type in your name, and then I'll call out your name and you can ask your question to us all. So be thinking of those questions, and we'll move on to our 3 student ambassadors who've joined us. Let's start with Angelina.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Angelina Bazzelli. I am a senior here at the university, double majoring in marketing and management, and I have a concentration in business information systems. I am involved with Beta Gamma Sigma, which is an honor society within the business school. I'm also in Women in Business, which is an incredible club for networking for women here. And I'm really excited to meet all of you and hear your questions.
Thanks, Angelina. Gabby?
Good morning. I'm Gabby Chartier, and I'm a 4th-year management and marketing student at UMaine. I'm also from Dixfield, Maine, like Chris mentioned, and they actually put in another stoplight, so now we have 2. I'm involved in MBS Corps and the Maine Outing Club, which I'm excited to talk to you about a little bit later on, I'm assuming. And I like to go skiing and I like to go hiking, so I like to take advantage of what we have here in Maine.
Thanks, Gabby. And finally, CJ.
Hi, I'm CJ. I'm currently a senior, double majoring in business management and marketing. I'm one of the ambassadors as well. Some of the things I'm involved in is the Undiscovered Maine project for the business school and then MBS Corps.
Thank you, CJ. So on a normal accepted student session, if you were all able to come to campus, we would be very happy to share a presentation with you and tell you more about the business school and take you on a tour of the Donald P. Corbett Business Building, which is where most of the business classes are housed, as well as our Dean's Office and Academic Advising Center. Unfortunately, we're unable to do that in person, but we hope that you'll visit our student portal where you can take a guided tour and watch that presentation that we would normally give in person. And you can view all of those resources as well as others for the University of Maine at our new website, umaine.edu/business/accepted. So if you haven't done that yet, we encourage you to check that out after this session. So since I'm seeing no questions just yet, I think we'll give a little bit of background about the business school. So we offer a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration degree. And we have 4 majors with that program: accounting, finance, management, and marketing. And so some of our faculty members and students have talked about those programs, and we encourage our students to work with their academic advising officers to get that figured out. So Cindy, maybe could you talk a little bit about the process of selecting classes and picking a major?
Yeah, most students at times will select a major right when they're admitted. A lot of students come in as undecided, and that is totally okay. The Advising Center will schedule you for your fall courses. We do that because we need to make sure you get prerequisites done for sophomore level classes. Everybody is assigned a professional academic advisor as well as a faculty mentor. So we will take care of your crossing T's and dotting I's to make sure classes are completed within 4 years. And the faculty mentor will talk about careers, potential internship sites. They're your networking person for positions outside. But the staff in the Advising Center know how to, you've heard people do double majors, how to make sure you can do a double major or do a double major and a concentration. And the majority of the time, you're still finished in 4 years. That is our goal, to get you the courses and the majors and concentrations you want and to complete your program on time.
Thank you, Cindy. Now, Nori, I know you and Dave both have mentored a lot of students. Would you mind talking about some of the experiences you've had mentoring students and what that relationship looks like?
Yeah, we've got a great relationship with our students. Our faculty are primarily, all classes are taught by full-time faculty, and we make it a point of getting to know our students, encouraging them with an open door policy to come in and see us anytime if they have any questions, any concerns. That's kind of our priority, to work with students, both in the classroom, in the clubs, and so on. Dave, you want to add to that?
Had to unmute myself. Yeah, you know, it's, I have to say that I have a really fun position here in that as a lecturer, I have no research requirement. So all that I do is teach. And so all I do is spend my time in the classroom or in my office with students. And it's really great to see them grow from when I will sometimes have them as early as the first semester of their freshman year, if they come in as a declared accounting major, and see them progress all the way up, sometimes through the MBA program, and see how they turn from, you know, 17, 18-year-old first year college students to these people who are really professional, doing internships. I'm hearing from their internship coordinators at local accounting firms how great they are. And so, you know, we have a number of folks who were scheduled to be doing internships this spring. Some of the internships stuff has been shelved, but some of it has just gone virtual because the work still needs to get done in many cases. And so it's a really fun experience, and I've gotten to know quite a few of the students really quite well throughout this path. It's a great gig, I have to say.
Thank you, Dave. And you mentioned internships, so that's one thing that we get a lot of questions about, and a lot of our students, and especially our student ambassadors, have taken advantage of. So maybe if our student ambassadors would like to talk about their internship experiences, that'd be a great way to move forward before our question that we received from IFTY. So Gabby, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, so I started freshman year with an internship with the Orono Police Department. I pretty much got an email from Amanda, who's our internship coordinator, that they were looking for somebody to help with accreditation, filing, pretty much anything like that. I've helped with yearly use of force reports, any statistics that they need sorted out. Anything business related, I've helped them with, and I've been able to do that for actually the past 4 years of school, which has been awesome. And last summer, I interned with Enterprise Rent-A-Car, which was in Boston, actually. I just decided to apply to the Boston location just to explore that city. And that was pretty much everything that goes along with the car rental process. So cleaning cars, speaking to customers, renting cars, making phone calls, everything like that. So I've learned a lot from my internships, and you can get credit for them. You don't have to, but that's also a cool option, is that you can get credit for your internships so that it may fill a free elective credit or something along those lines.
Thanks, Gabby. CJ, how about you go next?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've had a couple different internships over the past 4 years while at the Maine Business School. So the first one I had is I was actually working at MEMIC, which is in Portland, Maine, and they're a workers' compensation insurance company. So I was in their HR department. So that's ranged from the hiring process, training, recruiting, benefits and development, everything like that. So I did a wide range of different things within HR. And then after that, last summer, I was actually with National Corporate Housing in Seattle, Washington, because my first summer I worked in Maine, and then I wanted to see what it was also like outside of Maine. So that was definitely a great experience. I started in the operations and customer service side of corporate housing and short-term apartment rentals. And then from there, I worked remote while at school, and then I was in the sales department. So I transitioned into that. And then I actually just accepted a position with them. So I'll be with them after college full time.
That's awesome. Thanks, CJ. Angelina?
Yes, so I started out internships in between my freshman and sophomore year. I was the marketing and tourism intern for the Piscataquis Chamber of Commerce, which was a really incredible opportunity because I got to see the business world from the inside out. I got to see issues that small businesses deal with on a day-to-day basis and figure out solutions to help promote them. I did a lot with constant contact, designing and sending them out and keeping track of those communications, and also helping out with the Whoopie Pie Festival, which is a huge, huge fundraiser that they do every year, which was a really, really fun time. And then this past summer, I interned at Cross Insurance, which is headquartered right around the corner in Bangor, Maine. But I was down in one of their Portland offices, and they are an incredible company, great values. It's a family-owned business, but they have over 900 employees, so you get a lot of great benefits within an organization like that.
Great. Thank you, Angelina. So we have 2 questions come in, which is great. Nick, maybe could you talk about class sizes that one of our prospective students asked about?
Yeah, sure. So class sizes range depending on what year you're in. So first years, the class sizes could be around 30 to 40 students. As you progress into your sophomore, junior year and your core classes in your major, the class sizes goes down to 20 to 30. And we have, obviously you're not in the building now, but if you were, you would see our smaller classes on the second floor that are very high tech. Very proud of our building. But yeah, so the class sizes in the beginning are a little larger, and then they taper down as you focus more on your majors, and that's important that you get smaller classes and allowing to engage in teamwork and work closer with your faculty. So good question, very good question.
Yeah, thank you, Nick. And I see another great question that asks, how competitive is the Maine Business School among other business schools in New England? And I see that Dean Gilbert typed a little answer here, but I'll let her kick us off with that.
Yes, I like typing the answers. I know I'm ahead of the game, or multitasking, which I shouldn't do. We're an AACSB accredited program. That's the gold standard of quality in business education nationwide. It means we are focused on continuous improvements and making sure that the analytics and the concepts that you learn here are on par with any other accredited business program in the world. It places us quality-wise among the top 5%, and we have external accolades that are beginning to occur to attest to that as well. Our online MBA program is within the top 50 in the United States, according to US News and World Report, and based on CEO magazine, which is a more internationally focused publication, we're in the top 20. I think we're 26 in the world. So our accounting students are at the top of the pass rate for their, why can't I remember the name of that test? Yeah, the CPA exam. Thank you very much. I was multitasking in my brain, which means it tends to go. So not that we're competitive or anything. We like to be collaborative and to work with students as to where they want to go, but the quality of the education and the experiences you would find here and the willingness of people to work with you to help you get where you want to go are as fine as you will find anywhere in the world. Not that I'm competitive, but I'm very proud of this faculty, staff, students. I love the stories from the ambassadors. That was just makes my heart sing. Thank you. And I won't go into answering study abroad because I think others may enjoy answering those questions as well.
Yeah, thank you, Dean Gilbert. So I'm going to kick this over to our student ambassadors because I know a few of them have studied abroad. One of the great things that the University of Maine offers is individual study abroad programs, and Gabby can talk about that experience where you can go for an entire semester and study abroad at a university in pretty much whatever country you'd like to visit. But we also offer faculty-led study course trips, and I know that Nori has led a few of those. So I think we can talk about both of those, and that's a great opportunity to learn about how you can extend your education beyond the borders of Maine. So Gabby, could you talk a little bit about your study abroad experience?
Yeah, so you can pretty much study abroad anywhere you can imagine, and it's pretty much up to you to decide where and how early you want to start your research on that. But I studied abroad. It was 4.5 months in Australia last year, and I was able to transfer 3 of my 4 classes back into my business degree, so it didn't set me back at all. And in order to do that, I pretty much just had to meet with the dean of the business school at that time. And that was where they read over the descriptions of the classes and just made sure they were going to be pretty much equivalent to UMaine Business School classes. So I set up my classes so they were Monday through Wednesday. And just about every weekend I was traveling either somewhere close to where I was on the Gold Coast or far away to Cairns or Brisbane or Whit Sundays. So you can go direct exchange, or you can go through like a third-party provider, and I went through USAC, University Studies Abroad Consortium, just because I didn't start looking early enough. But I would definitely recommend study abroad to anybody who's even slightly considering it, or anybody who's not. I would consider it. Some of the things that I was able to do was I went bungee jumping in New Zealand. I went bungee jumping again in Australia. I was able to scuba dive in the Great Barrier Reef. So with it comes the most amazing experiences that I've ever had. So definitely the option to study abroad is there for you.
Yeah, thank you, Gabby. So I'm going to ask Nori if you'll talk a little bit about some of the international experience trips that you've led.
Well, my most recent one was 2 years ago in 2018, and we took a group of students to the UK, to England, and to Ireland, and it was um, a really interesting experience. It was kind of a blend of business visits and cultural experiences. In terms of business visits, we were able to meet with the US Embassy in London to learn about commerce and international business. We were also able to meet with the president and CEO of Harrods to learn about retail and from the best in the world. We were able to meet actually interestingly with the member of parliament who was the chair of the Brexit committee at that time, which was a super interesting experience to actually be in Parliament. We were able to view Parliament and then have a private meeting with him. In Ireland, we were able to visit the Google campus there and learn about innovation from Google's perspective. So, and then we did all kinds of really fun things like, the tour of London. We went to Bath and Stonehenge, and in Ireland we toured the country. So it was a great experience. It was 11 days and a lot of fun and a great learning experience.
Yeah, thank you, Nori. So one of the cool things about those trips, and I see Nick has a comment, is that in addition to your study abroad that you might do on your own, where you'll take a list of classes, this is a single course. So you're earning credit, 3 credit hours, and then you go on this excursion. And was it a week long, Nori, that your trip was?
Ours was 11 days.
Okay, great. So you'll go with faculty and other students, and you'll go and explore, and then come back and work on project material, but it's worth credit. So that's a specific course that we offer at the business school. Nick, do you have something to add?
I was just going to add, we have faculty from all over the world, pretty much from every continent except the one in the South. So we draw on those too in terms of building our course or travels abroad. So we've been to Russia multiple times, South Africa, we've been to Brazil, into the Amazons, where we study ecolodging. We've been to Japan, been to Sweden a couple of times. So it makes it easy to have faculty that are from those areas to really get connected with local businesses and people in interesting positions. So definitely look out for our international trips. It's a big thing.
Since I haven't left the house this week, this is really making me hungry for travel. I must say, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, so unfortunately, we had to postpone one of our trips. Actually, last week over UMaine spring break, some of our students would have been going to the UK. And so Angelina was actually one of those students. And so, Angelina, maybe you could talk a little bit about what that course looked like leading up to the trip and why you were interested in going on that faculty-led trip.
Sure. So I had not had the opportunity to study abroad during the first couple of years of my college. I was just very involved with theater and a lot of other things, so it just made it very difficult to find that time to get abroad. And so when I found out about an opportunity to go during spring break and not really have to miss any other classes or obligations, I just thought it was a really incredible opportunity. And I'd never been overseas before in general. So the idea of being able to explore a new country, a new culture, and get some actual business experience out of it and make some really unique connections, I thought was going to be a really great opportunity for me. So the class was focused around tourism and entertainment and how those industries fuel an economy. So we were going to stay in London and Glasgow primarily. We were also going to spend a day in Edinburgh. And we had been planning a lot of different things. We were going to go on several different business tours. We were going to go to the Celtic Football Club. We were going to, we were going to visit a couple different breweries or distilleries. And it was really cool to think about all these different businesses we were going to go visit. And we were also going to have time at the end of the day to just explore. They were going to give us a pass for London, essentially, where we could have almost free admittance to a lot of different landmarks and historical sites, which we could do on our own time. And so it was kind of like a vacation for spring break, but also educational at the same time. So that's why I had been interested in it.
Angelina, so I don't know if this helps you, but this trip is on the books for next year. So you know,
I'm graduating.
I'm sorry.
So we have some great questions coming in. I see that Devin asked if you're able to study abroad for just one semester. So you can take a semester-long study abroad, but to answer your question, you could go on multiple study abroads. And you'll work with our faculty, or excuse me, with our professional academic advisors to make sure you're staying on track for your degree. Cindy, could you comment on that?
Yeah, usually when students are thinking about going to study abroad, we're one of the first people they're going to talk to because we need to figure out how we can put it into their schedule. Sometimes we can adjust classes. If you're interested in going somewhere that maybe doesn't have a business program, we can make that work for you. And it just takes coordination for us. We've had students that have gone on a year-long abroad and would work with them to get classes for both semesters. So our office works really hard to make sure that you can do what you want to do and you enjoy doing, but still complete your program on time.
Thank you, Cindy. We have some great questions coming in.
Can I actually just
Yep.
really quickly, just to kind of add into that. So the way that our curriculum is set up is that it's not you show up first your freshman year and you take the same set of courses and everyone marches through. That the way that our course requirements are set up is that there's an awful lot of flexibility that'll allow you to do things, majors, minors, both within the business school and outside the business school. So you could spend 2 semesters, 3 semesters, I don't know, maybe 4 semesters somewhere else, potentially, and transfer the credits in with the proper planning. Making sure that you are meeting the requirements that the university sets forward, but you have to have a basic English class. You have to have a couple of science classes and so on. And where you take the science class, so long as you meet an overall residency requirement in terms of the number of courses at UMaine, it doesn't really matter where you take them. In certain cases, the trick is if you're planning on leaving or doing a semester abroad in your senior year, and there are very specific classes that you have left in order to finish your degree, you may not be able to find those classes at a particular institution. But it's not, but going away, you just transfer the credits in, as Cindy said, so long as you plan properly and you know what classes you need to take here, you know what classes are available there. With enough planning, you could do 1 semester, 2 semesters, 3 semesters. People transfer in as juniors. They've technically done 4 semesters of work somewhere else. And, if you plan it correctly, there's a lot of flexibility.
Yeah. Thank you, Dave. So we have some great questions coming in. We have a Gardner who asked, if I was looking at entrepreneurship, how would I go about that with all of the majors? So in addition to the 4 majors that we offer of accounting, finance, management, marketing, the Maine Business School also offers concentrations. And those concentrations are ways to augment your degree and fill up some of your free elective credit with a specific track of courses. And so one of those concentrations is entrepreneurship. In addition to that, we offer a concentration in international business and business information systems. And so, Nick, maybe could you talk specifically about our entrepreneurship opportunities?
Yeah, and I'm going to ask Nora to chime in too as well. Fantastic concentration, learning about a business plan, setting up a business from a legal standpoint, from concept to execution, and marketing plan for your product. And that's not just in entrepreneurship. Most of our classes have projects that are linked with local businesses to get the hands-on experience of what it is to work in an environment. And I think Nori has, I don't know how many projects that you have every semester in your classes, but do you want to share a little bit about what you've done in the past? I know you had some 30 projects at one point.
Yeah, last semester we had about 45 projects between the classes, but also we have a faculty member, Dr. Jason Harkins, who's our entrepreneurship expert, and he's just fantastic. I mean, he is so involved in the small business community in Bangor and in Maine and beyond, that he brings an enormous wealth of expertise to this concentration. And he also does these projects where we have partnered with usually small local businesses, because many of you know that Maine is, I think the statistic is 97% small business. And so the students, it's kind of a win-win. The students get the real hands-on experience of applying the concepts and working with these small businesses. Last semester, I'm sorry, we decided to try an experiment and focus on the dairy industry in Maine. So the students worked with very small cheese producers like goat cheese and other things like that, and ice cream and milk and so on. And it was just, it was a lot of fun. I think the clients enjoyed working with the students. The students really enjoyed, doing something real. And I think everyone had a positive experience.
That's because one faculty member really likes cheese and wanted to have samplings of cheese. And so the whole community went out and helped them become more efficient and effective at their business operations related to that farming. It really is an exciting, it may not sound exciting. I don't know what it sounds like to you all, and the dorms are great. I see you're answering the question, so I'll turn it back to you, Nick.
Yep, and I think that's a great question, asking about coming from out of state, what's residence life like? Life on campus was a question that was asked a little bit earlier, and talking about parking. So I think that's a great opportunity for some of our student ambassadors to talk about their experiences in the residence halls and their life on campus. So maybe CJ, could you start us off with this one?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've actually been an RA, which is a resident assistant in the residence halls the past 3 years. So I've actually lived in a freshman residence hall for 4 years while at UMaine. And it's definitely a great experience when you're entering your college career, because when you get to school, you may know a couple people, you may not know anyone. For example, when I came, I knew no one at school. And you're just able to meet so many people on your floor, throughout your building, throughout different buildings on campus. So the way the dorms are set up, there's an area on campus where it's pretty much only freshman residence halls. So all the people around you are in their first year mode as well. So that just gives you an opportunity to meet everyone. And there's constantly programs and things like that going on in the residence hall to help you meet different people and things like that. So it's definitely been a great experience. And we also have the upperclassmen residence hall. So some people still stay on campus after their freshman year all throughout. Some people choose to move off campus. So there's definitely a wide range of opportunities and different things and different routes you can go.
How much does parking cost?
I think parking for both residents and non-residents commuters, I believe it's $50 per parking pass for the year.
Correct.
Great, thank you. So we also had a question about life on campus, and I know that Angelina especially is involved in a ton, especially outside of the business school. So Angelina, could you talk about what your experience has been like?
Sure. So one of the things that's really incredible about UMaine in general is that there's just a wealth of opportunity here. There's so many things you can do. For me, I have been involved in theater since I was 5 years old, and I absolutely love it, but I wasn't really thinking that I wanted to pursue it full time. I wanted to get another degree under my belt before thinking about something like that. But there is a lot of theater, acting, music opportunities on campus that I've been able to take advantage of. 2 theater classes, I was able to count toward a few of my elective credits, so it didn't pull me back from my timeline of graduation. I've been involved in 5 School of Performing Arts productions during my time at UMaine, 6. I lose count. And it's just been really incredible because they are very welcoming of people from other majors. It isn't like some colleges where if you're not in that school that you can't participate. They are very welcoming and very encouraging of people to be involved. And so that has been really incredible. There's also a theater club here called Maine Mask, which is the 2nd oldest club on campus. It's been around for a very, very long time. And the students themselves put on a show every spring semester. So it's student directed. All the students are involved. There's very little help from the adults, if you will. So that is always an incredible experience too.
And she's really, really talented too.
Thank you, Dave.
Well, thank you both. And Gabby, do you have anything to add about your time on campus or maybe working a job while taking classes?
Yeah, so I'm involved in MBS Corps, which I don't think we haven't talked about that. It's basically a service-based volunteer club in the business school, and you don't have to be a business student to join. So it's pretty much any volunteering opportunity that comes up that anybody wants to do, as well as we do Pets for Vets, which is previously was a basketball tournament, and last year was a dodgeball tournament where all the money goes towards veterans to get service animals. So it's pretty much any volunteering opportunity you can think of. We've volunteered at the Ronald McDonald House to cook, and I'm also involved in the Maine Outing Club. So we actually have a house up at Sugarloaf. So if you want to ski, dues were like $20, and there's no electricity, no running water, and you can stay up there while you're skiing at Sugarloaf. That's a lot of fun. I currently, well, not anymore because they're doing takeout only, but I work at Kobe while school is going on. That's a Japanese steakhouse. I'm a server. So there's tons of job opportunities in Orono. On campus, you can work at the dining halls. There's on-campus opportunities, and then there's off-campus. So we have in downtown Orono, we have Harvest Moon, we have margaritas. So there's a lot of, if you want to get a job during school, it's not only manageable, but it's also, you can pretty much do whatever you want to do. They look to hire a lot of college students. So yeah, you can definitely work as well.
Yeah, thank you, Gabby. And so some of our students have mentioned a few of the student organizations that the Maine Business School has. So in addition to the MBS Corps, which like Gabby said, is the service-oriented group on campus, we also have the MBS Ambassadors, which some of these students are a part of, and they would normally be giving tours and talking to you when you visited campus. But the Maine Business School also has 4 other student organizations. We have a local chapter of the Institute of Management Accountants. We have the American Marketing Association, SPIFFY, which is the Student Portfolio Investment Fund, and we also have the Women of the Maine Business School. So IMA, the Institute of Management Accountants, maybe Dave could talk for a quick minute about what that organization does.
Sure. So the organization does a number of things. It's, as most business-oriented organizations, we focus on professional development, things like resume writing. We had a presentation on creating a LinkedIn account and what it should look like and why it's important. We interface with local firms, so we host the local firms to come to campus and do presentations on life as a public accountant, the various places that you could, or the various directions you could take your career within accounting. And we actually had just begun to ramp up getting ready to do volunteer income tax assistance. Everyone is all trained up before spring break. And when we got back from spring break, we were going to dive into doing volunteer income taxes. And, well, here we are. So, alas, no volunteer income taxes for us, at least for right now. Actually, I was speaking with Professor Jones a little bit earlier on. My guess is that with the delay in the filing for both federal and at least here in Maine state to July, it would not at all surprise me if the volunteer programs, the ones run by United Way and AARP that are kind of on hold right now because of social distancing, don't just ramp up in the summer. So it's possible that if we've still got folks who are around here on campus or in the greater Bangor area, we may be able to jump into that over the summer and pick up kind of where we left off. So cross your fingers.
And that question of if things stay closed, I hope that people will begin their online classes. We do have a degree in management that you can take in person, or you can complete the entire degree online. And so to begin your college career, I hope that by fall, we're back to a regular schedule and the students move back and all is well. But you just don't know. I mean, part of what this is teaching us is how to be flexible and adaptable and to deal with disappointment. Chris, do you have other insight of the option of starting them online and what you're hearing?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're, much like Dean Gilbert said, we are operating with the plan in mind of rolling in next fall, welcoming our new students to campus and everyone being here, and really having everyone back. And I look forward to that. for sure. I think we all do. But certainly those discussions are happening. What if? What is our plan? I think that the institution as a whole, certainly the School of Business, but the entire institution, had to come up with a plan to go completely virtual 100% in a matter of 10 days to complete this term, which has been fascinating. Our faculty and staff, students have been in this together. So I think we've learned a lot through this. We've gotten this done. So if we do have to continue that, I think we have learned and developed platforms that would allow us to begin that way. Obviously, the goal is to be here in site, but I think we will be able to get going if online is the requirement. I will share with the students that one thing we are starting to look at is also ensuring that we have orientation planning that can offer a virtual option. We are starting to plan that, knowing that our traditional orientation format may not work, considering it is earlier in the summer. But to any accepted students or students who are deciding they're coming to Maine, enrollment management will get that communication out to you as well in the next few weeks.
Thanks, Chris. So we have a great question a little while back. I'm loving all the questions that are popping up here from Mason. He asked, what is the process to receive an MBA at Maine after completing an undergraduate degree? So this is a perfect question for Jamie.
Thank you, Mason, for asking that question. It shows that you're thinking ahead quite a ways into the future. So there are two different pathways for students who are thinking about getting their MBA. For most majors, you can actually apply to and start some of your graduate level classes in your senior year. And so you can actually double up with your undergraduate degree and your MBA at the same time. And this is a fantastic route for students who are very high achieving and want to kind of really get a head start. However, the second pathway is to go ahead and graduate like you normally would, and then to apply to the MBA after graduation and start your MBA that way. That works really well for students who might have already gotten a job and might be moving away from the Orono campus or the Portland campus to wherever they're going is their next step. Because our program is offered 100% online and has been for a very long time. It's very highly ranked. It's very well respected in the field. And so you can be at your job in Portland or in Boston or in San Francisco and still be part of the UMaine community, working with faculty members who you might have already known. And work on your MBA over the period of maybe 2 years after you graduate, or you can even extend it out further. Or alternatively, you can stay in the Orono area or the Portland area. We do offer the MBA in both locations as well as online. So you can work at WEX or at Unum in Portland and still engage with the Maine MBA at our location on the University of Southern Maine campus.
Yeah. Thank you, Jamie. There are a few questions about, with everything being closed, are you able to drive around to get a feel for the school? So I would say almost all of the buildings on campus are closed. So unfortunately, you wouldn't be able to go into buildings, but the roads are still open. So if you're in the Orono area and want to take a road trip in your car and drive through campus on the streets, I think that would definitely be a viable option to experience campus that way. But please practice social distancing if you do that, and be conscious and stay safe. We have a question here that maybe Chris can answer. Is the decision date still May 1st, or has it been extended?
That's a great question. So as an institution, we still have our suggested deposit date of May 1st. However, the admissions office is granting extensions upon request of the student. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put my email address here in this chat for everyone. If you are someone who would like to request an extension on your deposit, just shoot me a quick email and say, hello, I'd like to request an extension, and I will absolutely approve it and grant you until June 1. So that's no problem at all. So if you see things online May 1, we still are encouraging students, but we understand that that may be more challenging given the current situation. So case-by-case basis, we will absolutely extend that flexibility to our prospective students.
Great. Thank you, Chris. Do we have a comment? Somebody?
I just said thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so somebody asked a question about financial aid. Is there a number that I can call for specific help? So Chris, I think that's to you as well.
Yeah, I think you should actually just direct those to me as well. I oversee our Office of Financial Aid. And we are working through the weekends and everything to ensure we get this communication. So please also just email me directly, because financial aid questions they're always individual specific, an individual's package, an individual's merit scholarship, whatever. Please direct those all to me, and we'll have answers to you today for sure.
Great, thank you. So one of the things, I see a little long questions, one of the cool, exciting opportunities that I want to talk about for this class of students coming in next fall is a new program we're offering called Adventure Management 101. So all students at the Maine Business School take Management 101, which is our introduction to business class. But this fall, we're piloting a new program where a small group of students can take their Management 101 class outdoors. So you could come to campus a week early, bring all of your campus gear that you're going to be moving into your residence hall and drop it off. And then with some faculty members and members from our outdoor organization, Maine Bound, you can go and hike, camp, and canoe for a few days in Maine, learning about the business of hiking, camping, and canoeing, because outdoor rec is huge in Maine. And then you'll come back to campus in time for welcome weekend, move in with all of your new classmates, and then finish your coursework for Management 101 online. So it's a great way to get that intro to business, but get a feel for Maine, come to campus early, and meet a group of friends that you can move through your business classes for the next 4 years. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, and we hope that it is, if you go to our umaine.edu/business/accepted, there's a page all about that new program. You can read about it, check the course details, the itinerary for the trip, and it gives information on how to enroll in that. And one of the best parts is the fee for the course is built into your financial aid. So it's paid for through your statement of account. So if you have scholarships, they can be applied toward that excursion, and you can pay for that bill just like you would your tuition bill. So we hope that that's something that you're all interested in taking advantage of. So we see here that Chris posted the deposit extension request and financial aid questions. So please take a look at that. His email address is christopher.michael.richards@maine.edu. So
it's the longest one on campus. The longest
email address on campus. So please direct financial aid questions, deposit extensions, anything about enrollment to Chris. And I see that Nick has a comment here.
Yeah, just we got a question yesterday when we did our session. Why Maine? Why Maine Business School? And I'm obviously biased, but number one, location is unique. Our business school, we have pretty much what any other business school has. We're accredited, as Dean Gilbert mentioned. We have our clubs, highly experiential in terms of our classes and working with businesses. But what they don't have is our faculty, really. Our faculty love what they do. And because they love what they do, they're good at it. And they really do care. What you would feel coming to campus and visiting our classroom is the family feel, sort of the informal, a little slower, very genuine kind of feel. It's special. I've been here for 11 years, and it's hard to explain that without you experiencing that. But I think also perhaps our student ambassadors can share a little bit why they decided to join Maine Business School.
Yeah, with just over 10 minutes, I think that's a great way to wrap up this session. So if we could have our ambassadors just talk about why you chose the Maine Business School and what your experience has been like. Maybe Gabby, could you start us off?
Yeah, so being from Maine, I wasn't sure if I wanted to leave Maine or not. However, it was financially a better thing for me to do to stay in Maine. But my brother was a senior here when I was a freshman, and so I had come to the campus a bunch of times, and I had gotten to know this campus a lot better than ones that I may have gone for a tour at. But what I like about UMaine is not only the faculty, they're amazing, but it's a huge school, and you still get to know everybody in your classes. Like, you still see familiar faces every day, and you start with, like, lecture size may be big, but by your second year, you know the faces in your classes. You know pretty much everybody. You're put in a lot of groups with people you know again and again throughout the 4 years. And so that's why I like UMaine so much.
Thank you, Gabby. CJ, could you go next?
Yeah, absolutely. So some of the things that I really loved about UMaine was, like Gabby was saying, was the people, and then also all the activities and different things you can get involved in. Whether you're living on or off campus, there's always something to do. Different clubs, activities, and things like that. Like for the business school specifically, we have 4 of our own clubs, and then set aside from that, there's over 150 other clubs around campus as well, if you want to get involved in something outside of the business school. So there's really something to do for everyone. And when I started here, I joined the MBS Corps, which is one of my favorite clubs on campus and in the business school. And then there's other things like Undiscovered Maine, which is a research project I've been doing for 4 years with the business school. And then getting involved with the ambassadors, giving tours to prospective students has been something I've always loved to do. And then the wide range of classes and meeting different professors. So whether you want or don't want the professors to know you in different classes, they're going to know your name. And that's honestly been a great experience for me, because they're there for both the in-classroom learning, but they're also there outside the classroom, and they really want you to succeed both in and outside the classroom. So I've had professors that have helped me get some of the internships I've had and some of the different experiences I've had. And that's definitely made my experience at UMaine very positive. And I'm definitely going to miss it after leaving this semester for the 4 years that I've had.
Thank you, CJ. So before we go on to Angelina, we have a great question here that says, for a student who's living far away from Orono, if a student gets sick on campus, what facilities does UMaine offer outside of the campus? So UMaine has the Cutler Health Center, which is our on-campus health center, and we're very close to both Orono and Bangor, so those health facilities are close, but maybe that's something that Chris or Dean Gilbert could talk a little bit more about.
The Northern Light Health System in Bangor is a top-rated hospital, full service, large. I can't tell you how many beds. I should be able to tell you that. I just know I moved here from out of state. I'm at the end of my first year here, and I've been impressed with the level of medical support and services that you can find. And then the Cutler Health Center on campus is very convenient for students that are there, and a good place to start. Is that
Yeah, and I would say too, Cutler can provide a variety of services, and actually even as a staff member on campus, I get my primary care provided right on campus here. So we also do have our own ambulance service on campus. Students, it's a volunteer ambulance corps, and some students will pick that up as something they do. They become a licensed trained EMT, and then they work on our own ambulance service on campus. So we really do have a fully functioning support system on campus from a health perspective.
Great.
But the state is also one of the safer areas. I mean, crime rate is very low here. Your people look out for one another here. I don't like to forget to lock my house, but I've come home a couple of times and left my back door just open and unlocked, and it's I'm enjoying Maine quite a bit.
Thank you both.
Also, living on campus in the dorms for the past 4 years, like we talked about the ambulance a little bit. We also have our own police department on campus as well. Correct me if I'm wrong on the number, but I believe the police can get anywhere on campus within 2 minutes of if they're called. So they're very fast. I doubt you'll ever need to use them for something like that, but there are people around there to make sure the campus is safe, and there's always people watching over others.
Yeah, thank you. And in addition to physical health, the University of Maine also has a ton of mental health resources. And just last year, we launched a new app called Navigate, which is an app for students to be able to access resources all across campus, from your course schedule to dining facilities, but also a list of every mental and physical health facility we have on campus. So you can find resources, hours, and GPS location to get to the Cutler Health Center, but also to any of our student wellness centers to access any mental health resources that you might need on campus.
And don't forget the rec center that was recently built, top rec center in the US, I'd say. So I know there's videos and links on Maine webpage, so check that out too. Yeah, it's important to exercise for mental health.
Yes.
And one other thing to kind of tag on, there's also the Student Accessibility Services Department. So for students who had IEPs in high school or require some sorts of accommodations in terms of testing, in terms of needing note takers, things along those lines, there's a whole suite of services available to students through them as well. And I've had students run the gamut of between dyslexia, other learning disabilities, mental health issues, and so on. And those are all I feel like they're well addressed here on campus, and there's good support systems in place for students with any sort of issues, either physical or mental, to be, that they need help with.
Thank you, Dave. And finally, we have not talked to our last ambassador, Angelina. So I'd like Angelina to talk about, as a senior, what's your life been like at UMaine and what made you want to study business?
Sure. So quickly before I get to that, just to talk about student accessibility services, I have both been a note taker and a tutor for students who require those services. And it has been a really incredible opportunity. It is also a job. You do get paid to do it. So that is nice as well. But I've been able to tutor in all 4 of our major categories within the business school. And that's been really great for me as well, because I am kind of relearning a lot of these subjects that I haven't really thought about for a year or 2 or sometimes 3 years. So sometimes when a student asks me a question, I have to actually think about it first and then, oh yes, okay, so this is how you do it. So that's a really great opportunity for students as well. As far as why I came to UMaine, to be honest, finances, that was why I came to UMaine. And when I came here originally, I was undeclared. I had no clue what I wanted to do. But prior to starting, I had accepted a position within the athletic department doing marketing for them, because I had had a lot of film and photography experience in high school for our athletics. So it was just right up my alley, and it sounded like a lot of fun. And it was a lot of fun being able to parade through the tailgate at 18 years old with UMaine marketing and a video camera, and just being able to put together footage for videos that has been seen by over 10,000 people. I was involved in editing our Black Bear Insider show, which is on a lot of our local television networks. And it was through that experience that I kind of fell in love with marketing as a major. So it was in between my first 2 semesters that I switched over to the business school, and I have never looked back. I had no idea the wealth of human capital that the business school had until I was in it. And I've always been a firm believer in you get out what you put in. And so I've always, worked really hard to build connections with my professors and strengthen those relationships over the years. And it really does feel like a family. I have just grown to be so close to so many people here, and the abrupt goodbye was definitely a very sad time with all of this going on, but it truly is an environment where people actually care about you. They want you to succeed, and they want you to enjoy your experience here, and that cannot be said of some other colleges.
Thank you, Angelina. I don't think anybody could have said that any better. That is a fantastic way to wrap up this accepted student session. I will say, for those of you that were unable to visit campus, I hope that you'll check out some of our resources, but this is a great question. We've got to squeeze it in. What makes the University of Maine stand out? And so you've heard from some of our business students about their experiences. Maybe as a final word, Dave and Nori, could you talk about, as faculty members, what makes UMaine stand out to you?
Well, Maine, I love Maine for several reasons. In terms of the school, it's the perfect size. It's big enough to have amazing resources and experiences, but it's small enough, as everyone's been saying today, to feel like a family. I mean, you get to know people across campus within the business school, and it just feels so nice. It feels welcoming. And I guess Maine itself, again, I'm kind of parroting what some people said, but Maine is so safe. It's just a phenomenal place to live. It's like, the slogan for Maine is the way life should be. And in fact, it really is. I've been here almost 20 years now, and I absolutely love Maine, and I love the university, and I love the business school.
Thank you.
Yeah, so not to repeat what everyone else has said, but I'm going to kind of repeat what everyone else has said. So my undergraduate degree is from Holy Cross in Worcester. There were about 2,500 students when I was there. And then I did my graduate work at Kelley School of Business at Indiana University, Bloomington, which is tens of thousands of students. And I came to interview here, and I felt like I was coming home, with all of the faculty being all on the one floor of the business building, within easy reach. And yet, despite the fact that it's a small and it's got that small feel to it, I am continuously awed by the quality of my colleagues, in terms of their teaching ability, their research ability. That we have got folks who are truly giants in their particular fields, and yet we're in these classes where, you know, I have a class of 17 this semester, and an upper level class, and so it's not these huge lecture halls, and the students are not being taught by grad students. They're being taught by these people who are brilliant, who know what they're doing and are great educators. And so, you know, I don't think that you can get that at a lot of places, that you can get a small feel, you can get a breadth and wealth of knowledge and experience, but having both of them together is a really special thing here. I think we've got the secret sauce.
Thank you, Dave, and thank you, Nori. So we're going to wrap up here. I thank everybody for joining us. This has been an awesome session. Fantastic questions. For those of you who have other questions or want to learn more about the business school or the University of Maine, I just put some information in the chat. You can visit our accepted student portal at umaine.edu/business/accepted. And please send any questions you have via email to mbs@maine.edu. Our faculty, our staff, and our advisors are here to answer your questions. And we really hope that you'll make the decision to join us here next fall. So congratulations again on your acceptance to the University of Maine. And we hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, students. It's good to see you.